to your 2024 Raffle aircraft update. I'm Abby Austin. I'm the director of the Airmen. I'm here with Junior Daniel of the Danchini Aero team. We're going to meet some more of his team today, but we want to give you an update on the status of your Raffle airplane. This is not it. Don't get excited. It's not finished yet, but this is one of the Junior's recently finished customer aircraft that we're going to show you some cool things on that will be on your Raffle aircraft. We've got your airplane over here. We're going to talk about it too. And I want to remind everybody, you can buy raffle tickets anytime, day or night, at alaskaairmen.org. You can call us during business hours, 9 to 5 Alaska time, Monday through Friday, 907-245-1251 to get your raffle tickets for this airplane and a ton of other great prizes. We also have some fun stuff today for those of you that are tuned in. If you ask a question about the airplane during the live stream, we will draw a winner from everyone that asks a question for a free raffle ticket, one free entry to win this incredible airplane. We also have 2 trivia questions today. The first one to answer correct on either Facebook or Instagram will also win a free raffle ticket. So stay tuned for that. We'll have a little Christmas treat there. So Junior, can you give us an update? What is going on with our raffle plane at this point?
Well, at this point, we've built the interior. All the panels have been fitted about 40 times, and then we've taken all the panels out to start covering it in fabric. Currently, all the wings are covered in fabric. All the control surfaces are covered in fabric, and the wing up on the wall there is the last one to be painted.
Great, excellent, Truth. I know you're getting an image of that. If the folks can see, there's 2 wings up there on the wall. The one in front has not been painted, obviously, and the one in back is been shot with some glossy black. We'll show you a little bit more about the paint scheme here in a few minutes. So what is going on with the fuselage? Why is Judd working so hard with that tiny paintbrush?
So we use sewer systems in here, and ultimately what's happening is they're pre-gluing everything. So they'll put the glue on first, then once it dries...
Get a close-up shot of what he's doing here. I'm listening.
Once the glue dries, then we'll cut the fabric out, lay it on, and attach it with heat to fit it. And then we'll go back over it again and glue through it. The glue will reactivate the glue underneath, and then it'll fuse itself into the bottom layer. So the belly will get done first, then this side gets done, and then the opposite side gets done. Once it's all on, then we'll tighten up the sides. And it's kind of important to uniformly tighten the sides, because you'll end up pulling the spine or pulling the top former, and then you'll have a real ugly spot in it. So belly gets taut, attached to the belly, attaches to this former right here. You tauten the fabric along this section so you can glue the next side over to it, and then when you completely shrink it, you shrink it on both sides equally so that you don't deform this former up here.
Oh, we got some questions. Great. What kind of questions have we got?
Some people cannot hear you in the live right now. Junior,
okay.
Speak up a little bit. But I do have some questions for you guys.
Great.
So, one of the questions was, what motor does this aircraft have?
It's going to be a Superior 0360. It'll be experimental. Can I say who's building it?
Yeah.
Okay, Aero Recip is building it.
Thank you, Aero Recip. Yeah.
As far as I understand, the engine is done. It's been dynoed. I don't have the numbers on the dyno yet. The crank is a... Okay, the crank is a...
We're trying, folks. We're trying.
All right, so the crank is a Continental crank. What do they call it? It's a certified one. But anyways, it's not a Superior crank, it's a Continental crank. All the rest of the parts are Superior on it. And then we sent all the exhaust and stuff to Aero Recip so that we can get an actual number of what it's going to produce. So it,
nice.
you know, it's not just going to be a 0360
Right.
180 horse. It's got additional
Hot
things
rodded,
into it.
basically.
Yeah, it's been doctored up a little
Great,
bit.
great. Well, we look forward to hearing about that. So our next live stream, we hope, will be engine and propeller. So stay tuned for that when we get those in-house.
Yeah, we're going to get a special propeller too.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about the special propeller for sure. So let's go back to the fabric for 1 minute, and we're
Yeah.
kind of stuck together here. Hopefully everybody can hear you. So you said Stewart Systems, they're an incredible sponsor of this aircraft. What do you like about their product? Why did you go with Stewart's?
I mean, the biggest thing is we are all standing in here right now, and we're doing fabric work. That's the biggest
And breathing.
part of it. Yes.
Yes, unassisted.
Yeah, none,
Right.
none of us are getting high off of what we're putting on.
Right.
But along with that, I did polyfiber for a while, and I started getting bad reactions to the solvents in it,
Oh, wow.
and I didn't want my workers to. If I didn't want to work with it, I didn't want to have my employees work with it. So we use Stewart Systems.
Sure.
And it holds up quite well.
Non-toxic.
Non-toxic.
Non-toxic. Wonderful. And I'm guessing you use Stewart's on this airplane behind
Yes.
us?
Yep.
So let's take a close-up look here, get some shots of the beautiful finish of a Stewart's system-covered aircraft. So tell us a little bit about this airplane, Junior, and what are some of the similarities that we can expect to see on the Raffle airplane?
So ultimately, this one has a L21 or has L21 glass in it. Short of the L21 glass, the structural component of the airframe is the same as the Raffle Cub. It has the big doors on it. They're exactly the same.
Back up a little bit. What do you mean by L21 glass for those of us that aren't familiar?
So the L21 glass goes, it's the glass that comes all the way back to here, and it's in reference to the model of Cub. It was a patrol model that the military used. This one's going to have D windows. The reason,
go look.
Yeah, let's go look at them D windows. So where the L21 glass comes back to here, the D windows will only be here. So this will be a window, and then we'll have a skylight on top. The reason why I prefer people to use the D windows is it's a whole lot lighter. You don't have as much as much metal going back there to reinforce the window, and on top of that, fabric is tremendously lighter than glass up there.
So you just don't think the weight is worth the small increase in visibility?
Some people like it. If you're the third passenger, you really like it.
Sure.
But the second passenger, you don't realize how much more you can see with it. Being able to look back at your tail feathers, that's kind of a benefit of L21 glass. But I would rather save the weight than put it in.
Sure. Any more questions? All right. People want that raffle ticket.
So one question that keeps getting brought up is, do you guys have a paint scheme or like a color scheme?
We sure do.
Yes, we do.
What a great segue. We got some pictures over here. Do you want to show off these pictures? And they don't really do it justice. So we'll look at these pictures and then try to get ideas. So tell us what you're planning. Can you see these here?
So ultimately, our colors is Dawn Patrol Gray and Midnight Black.
Oh yeah, we had some. Oh, there they are. Right. So they're nice and glossy. If you can see, a nice glossy black, and this is Dawn Patrol. It's a light gray with a nice shine to it. I don't know if you can see. There's a tail feather up there that's been painted in the gray. Yes, excellent. Looks gorgeous. Nice. And then it's hard to see, but on those wings we showed you earlier, the one in back has been sprayed with some of the glossy black. So it's going to be one tough-looking airplane when it's done.
So ultimately the way that we laid this out, the black, I mean, we're building it for an Alaskan, right? The black will heat up really fast. So you get a little bit of snowfall on there, or some ice on your wings. You know, if it's 20 below outside, but you got a clear day, it'll melt that. You know, that
Nice.
wing will heat up. It'll melt all the frost off of your wings. The way that we decided to tie in the tail is we have to make the tail feathers belong to the aircraft. So we got black on the wings, we got black on the elevators. There's going to be a black transition that goes along the leading edge of the horizontals to tie the horizontals into the elevators, and then the rudder will be well, this is the rudder right here.
Right.
It'll be completely gray.
Nice.
And
I like it.
we're using an AK because, well,
Because why not,
why
right?
not?
You can't not have the AK tail number. 796 Alpha Kilo.
And then we're going to use a different gray on the Alpha Kilo to make it stand out more.
Awesome.
And it'll be 12-inch.
Getting that. Nice. Nice. I'm excited to see it. And you've got several components in paint now, right?
Yes,
Okay, great. Everything's covered except the fuselage?
everything with a fuselage.
Wonderful. Any more questions?
Well, let's see here. There was one question that asked, do you know how much the plane is going to weigh?
Not yet? Too soon?
Well, we got ideas. I mean,
What's your goal weight?
1,100 pounds would be wonderful. You start putting 35s, and you know we're already gaining weight with a 360 on it. And,
Yeah.
you know, we're putting 10-to-1s in the engine, so we need a counterweighted crank so we don't.
What does
eat
that
the
mean,
prop.
10 to 1s? Help us understand.
A 10-to-1 ratio for the pistons.
Right.
The standard
Compression ratio.
Yeah, compression ratio. The standard is at 8.5 to 1, so we're going to 10 to 1, so we can get a little more snort out of it.
More snort. I like that.
Yeah, but when you go to 10 to 1s, you create a harmonic in the engine. That's not really. It's not favorable to the rest of the internal components.
Okay.
So in order to counter that, we put a counterweighted crank in it, which adds weight.
Sure.
It's going to make it run a little bit smoother, though.
The performance is worth it.
The performance is definitely worth it.
Great.
So that's going to add a little bit of weight.
Sure.
Like I said, 35s add weight. We have some lightweight
When you
wheels.
say 35s, you mean 35-inch Alaskan bush wheel tires?
Yes.
Yes, the
35-inch
big
Alaskan
boys.
bush wheel.
Yep.
Yeah. We have aluminum lift struts. That's going to save us some weight there. Everything is 2-ply carbon that we're getting from Carbon Concepts. So we're going to save weight there. It's 6/10 the weight of 20 thousandths aluminum. Anything that we can use that is not a fire shield is carbon.
Nice.
You know, we're not trying to play carbon with fire shields. So we have a titanium firewall. We're going to save weight there. Composite prop. We're going to save weight there. We got the lightest wings you can get, the lightest wings you can get. So we'll save weight there, but we're going to gain a little bit through the change in size. But with the change in size, we're getting a higher coefficient of lift. Therefore, it's worth the weight increase.
You put a lot
to
of
get
thought into this, clearly, about
Yeah.
where you're willing to to sacrifice a little weight for performance. That's
yeah.
excellent. So stay tuned. We'll get back to you on that exact weight, right? But
Yeah.
I
I think it's probably going to be somewhere around 1150.
1150.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. That's fantastic. Time for a trivia question, maybe? Should we do a quick one of those? See if we can give away some more raffle tickets. So Judd's looking at me because he knows I'm going to come to him. So I want to remind everybody, when you buy those raffle tickets, it's not just about winning an incredible airplane, right? It's our largest fundraiser. It pays for all of our events. It helps pay for the gathering. It pays for all of our next-gen workforce development programming. And of course, it helps fund scholarships. And Junior actually has at least 2 scholarship winners on his team, one of which is Judd Scott, who is a 2-time scholarship winner. So can you share a little bit with us, Judd, how those scholarships have helped you in your career?
Sure. So the first scholarship I got was when I was actually in school at UAF in 2020. And that scholarship went to pay for tuition and books and some of my other expenses while I was in school.
And that's their accelerated 1-year aviation maintenance program.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I went. We were a little more than a year because of a COVID delay, but we were done in October of 20. So, and then the second one I got was just this past year, and that helped me start to build up a tool collection for getting outfitted for work in this trade, and it's also helping me prepare for to get my inspection authorization. So
Wonderful. That's
yeah,
great.
It's been very, very helpful.
That is really
I'm
great.
very thankful for it.
Judd is a poster child for our scholarship program, and I'm using child loosely, Judd.
Very loosely.
A poster adult for our scholarship program, because we love people to apply more than once. We love to help them progress through their career. And he's another great example, because the first time he used it at a traditional college setting, but the second time he used it to purchase tools that helped him in his career and get him moving towards getting his IA. So you can use an Airman scholarship towards almost anything that helps you progress in your aviation career, and we want to see you apply again and again. So shout out to scholarships. They're opening, applications opening on our website January 1st through March 1st, so make sure you check that out. It's open to Alaskan residents or anyone planning to train or study in Alaska. So make sure you check that out, but by all means, buy raffle tickets so we can support people like Judd in their career. So Judd has a little trivia question for us. The first person to answer correctly on either platform is going to win a free raffle ticket. And of course, we'll reach out to you after this and get in touch. But what's our trivia question, Judd?
Okay, so our first trivia question today is, who is the manufacturer, what company is the manufacturer of these Raffle Cub fuselage and wings?
That's right. Who built this beautiful fuselage and those gorgeous wings? We'll see if anybody knows. See why, but without naming, without giving the answer away, Junior, can you tell us why you selected this particular manufacturer's fuselage and wings?
Well, the reason we selected this one is we get a quality product from them, and it doesn't break the bank.
I mean,
that's really what it is.
Can't beat that. Can't beat that. Yeah.
We get a quality product, and so far every fuselage we got from them fits in the jig that we typically set our dimensions off of.
Right.
Not typically,
Meaning they're consistent. Is that what you're
Yes.
getting at? Right. You don't have to do a lot of modifications to make them fit.
Yep, the relative angles are all good.
That's great. Do we have any answers yet, Truth?
We have a few answers. Some people have shouted out Javron and Behringer. And then let's see, Dink. No one answered. Well, we've got a few answers also on Facebook as well.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like we got a few right answers there. The right answer is, of course, Javron. This is the Javron fuselage and Javron wings. And we'll definitely, after the fact, we'll go through and figure out who was the first, and we'll get in touch and make you the new owner of a shiny raffle ticket. Yeah. So what else have we got going on? Junior, we could get back to your customer's airplane here, some things you want to show. I know we want to talk about the door a little bit, that big door. Do you want to show us some things over there that are going to wind up on this airplane?
So I kind of stole this idea.
I love a stolen idea.
Yeah.
It means it's a good idea.
I stole this. I was at UAA, and I'd sit out there and talk with Corey. He was putting his plane back together, and he was showing me pictures. And I was like, I really like that baggage door. And one day I went over there and I took a couple pictures of his baggage door, and I don't remember exactly what his dimensions were, but then I kind of changed it, and I kind of changed it. I kind of changed it up a little bit, made it my own. But the idea is you don't have to go head first into the tail. That is the idea of this baggage door.
You mean head first in the tail? You mean like literally like back? Normally you would come through here and try to reach back from inside the back seat, right?
So I put this in my plane, and it worked out really good. You grab your cowl blanket and you just stuff your cowl blanket in it. It sits right on top of the tubes. You can access everything inside of it. There's not a single spot in the entire plane that you can't put your hands on.
Wow. That's great.
Every single panel in the entire plane comes out, short of the floorboards where the seat is and where your feet go as the pilot. Everything else comes out of the plane. You can service every piece and part of it. And then,
That's great.
so I put this big baggage door in my plane as well, with the
This one
idea
here?
of, yes, with the idea of being able to drag meat bags out, because it's kind of a pain to get meat bags over the door up there, and then you end up tearing them, they drag them across your seat, you get blood all over everything, to include gear. So I put that in, and it works out pretty good, but I typically don't put weight back there anymore. I put it in the belly pod. I put a lot of the weight in the belly pod, then we'll put a hindquarter in the back seat, and it rides pretty good like that.
All right, nice.
But that's the idea of the big baggage door, and a lot of people like the big baggage doors, just because you can fit a cooler, a 5-gallon bucket, and you
Sure.
can fit anything in there. You can go get a bunch of clams and just stick them right in the back of
Yeah.
the plane with the water in the bucket, and it'll fly back just fine.
I love what I'm hearing from you, Junior, that not only is this airplane gorgeous, of course it's beautiful, but you've put a ton of thought into utility. This is not a hangar queen. This airplane is meant to get out and have some fun.
Yes.
Yes, a simple yes.
And these brackets here are tied into structure, and they're also tie downs. So it has a little clip that locks in there. You can attach a net to it. There's one in the very back as well, so you can tie down all your gear that goes in the tail, or the gear that goes in the back seat. We have tie downs up at the top. We got tie downs at the bottom, and that's kind of important. I mean, some people flip planes over. I flip planes over.
I've heard. It happens.
Everything in the back of the plane hits you in the back of the head.
Right.
Yeah.
So this allows you to secure it.
Yes.
That's great. That's great.
Helmets are important.
Yes, we're a big fan of helmets around the Airmen Association. Any more questions from the viewers? Truth.
Well, let's see here. If you have any questions, go ahead and also post them in the chat.
We can also do our last trivia question while the viewers are thinking about that. Where is Jeremiah? Would you join us, Jeremiah? Jeremiah is another member of the Danchini team that is a previous Airman scholarship winner.
I am.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that's helped you in your career?
Yeah, I can. So, a large chunk of my tools have come from that so far.
Fantastic.
And, I still have a lot to go, because it turns out Snap-on trucks is
The candy van.
the candy man.
The Candyman, right.
The candy man shows up, the wallet gets empty. But so I've gotten a lot of tools, a lot of fabrication style tools is what I'm focusing on.
Yeah.
I do a lot of fabrication here, so I've pretty much done a lot of the sheet metal and stuff like that as well.
So tell me a little bit about that for the folks that may not be familiar. It's pretty common that a professional mechanic needs to have their own set of tools and their own supply of tools. Is that right?
That is correct.
Right.
Because borrowing tools is kind of embarrassing. And Junior's toolbox is communal. You don't have all your tools.
Right.
So,
It can be a real disadvantage.
yeah, especially when Junior has to go off-site to take care of something. And
Right.
It takes like all 3/8 wrenches. So I'm using the stubby 3/8
Right.
to do something.
Right.
Yeah, so it can
Right.
get frustrating. So it's important that I have my own set.
And they can cost thousands and thousands of dollars to have a complete set. Yeah.
Like tens.
Yeah. Tens of thousands.
Tens of
Yeah.
thousands, yeah.
And to be taken seriously as a professional mechanic, you got to have your own tools.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to show up with some stuff
Right.
you got from some, what is that, Pittsburgh brand? Or
We're not going to trash anything. Right. I'm sure it's all good. Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
when you got to use it, you got to
Right,
use it.
right. But it makes a big difference to have your own set of professional tools.
Absolutely, yeah. And
Great.
So the scholarship has helped me get on my way,
Nice.
taking a big dent out of it,
Good. That's great.
and I will be applying again.
Fantastic. That's what I love to hear.
For the Alaska Airmen's Association scholarship, I will be applying.
That's
again.
fantastic. January 1st to March 1st. AlaskaAirmen.org.
Wink, nod.
That's right. Good job. All right. So what is our last trivia question? Help somebody win a raffle ticket.
All right. So, what is or who is the manufacturer of the brake system that we are putting on this Cub?
Yeah, have you guys seen those fancy red master cylinders in there? And who?
Have you been paying attention?
Have you been paying attention? Right.
They've been on it.
Right. So we'll give you guys a second to think about that. Anything else you want to share with us about this airplane, Junior? Put the mic right in your face. I know you're loving it.
I don't know. Pick an area.
Pick an area. Truth, what do you think? What do you want to know more about?
Have the folks on there pick an area.
Yeah, what area is interesting?
What do you want to know about?
The avionics will be a little different in the Raffle Cub, so that's not
Very
real different. Real different.
This thing has autopilot.
Right? No autopilot this year, so maybe we won't talk about avionics much, but we could talk about these fancy flaps.
Yeah. So these are Alaska Airframe's pistol flaps.
Are those the same flaps you're going to use on the Raffle plane?
They're not.
Oh, great. So tell us the difference and why you chose what you chose.
Well, these things perform very, very, very well with a standard round tip wing. The sight picture you get, the stall speeds you get, it's very nice. I've found when you go to the bigger flaps, because you are getting a weight penalty with these things.
Sure.
They are not as light as fabric flaps. Phenomenal purchase on a round tip wing Cub. When you go to the bigger flaps, you're getting a pretty substantial weight penalty, and I found that you end up flying. You end up with a higher stall speed. Maybe a mile or two higher, but you end up with a higher stall speed
Because of the weight.
because of the weight and because of the drag. I would probably not lean on the weight problem. It's more of
drag.
the drag problem.
Okay.
If you don't have a big enough engine to pull that drag through the air, it's going to stop flying. Okay.
Yeah, sure. You tell us where to go,
Yeah.
Truth. Tell us what the people
Yeah,
want to see. Yeah.
Give me direction.
We aim to please. Yeah.
But yeah, I have.
You can get it shot up under here if you want. Again, these are the airframe's pistol flaps. Different than what's going to be on the Raffle Cub.
Yep.
Talking about pros and cons.
So I've flown the 90-inch fabric flaps. I've flown the pistol flaps. I've flown 102-inch pistol flaps.
Personal preference.
Personal
Yeah,
preference.
Yeah.
A
lot of people love these.
I like the big 90-inch fabric flaps.
What do you like about them? Less drag?
Yeah, you're getting less drag. You still get the slow flight performance out of it. You
Yeah.
may not have the sight picture though.
The side picture is what's so valuable about the
Yeah.
pistol, right? That lower deck angle when you're coming in.
Yep. And I probably won't get into the big reasons why I don't like the really big pistols, because I like airframes.
Right. They make a beautiful product. It's
Yeah,
personal preference.
They make a wonderful product.
Yes.
But I like the big
Yeah.
fabric flaps.
Yeah.
They're light.
Yeah.
And the name of the game is keep it as light as possible.
Right. And you said you like these with a round-tipped wing. Have you
Yes.
chosen a different wing shape, a tip shape for the Raffle Cub?
Yeah, the Raffle Cub is square.
Up there?
It's a square wing.
Can you see it, Truth? Yeah. Perfect.
These wings that are open on the wall here, those are also square wings. But Jay mounts the tip as a bow.
Javron J.
Yes, Javron J mounts the tip as a bow, so it looks like it's a round tip set of wings, but it's just
But
the
it's
tip
that.
is
But it's
built
that
into it.
traditional square style.
Therefore, you don't have a fiberglass or carbon tip on it.
Okay.
It's just a former out there.
Or is it traditional? Which shape is considered more stock, the square or the round?
The round tip wings are stock.
Or stock wings. Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Square tip
Got it.
wings were an alteration later on.
Okay, got it.
And another thing that always comes up when I'm talking to people about what wings they want to use, crosswing components, people that work down on the peninsula. You're landing on a beach and you're always getting a crosswind when you're landing on a beach. Well, when they used to square these wings off, they wouldn't push the ailerons out to the end. So you have all this lifting surface out there. Also, you have this big area that the wing can grab a hold of it and pick the plane up, and you can't overcome it with the ailerons. when you push that, if you keep your aileron full length and push it all the way out to the tip, you actually have more leverage on the aircraft to manipulate it in the roll to get the wing to come back down. But with that being said, yes, the round tip wing is going to want to lift more in a crosswind, but I've never had that problem.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Good. Glad to hear it. Did we get any guesses on our trivia question, Truth?
One of them posted Behringer.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, and we only have that.
One correct guess on that one. All right, yes. Those are beautiful Behringer brakes, and we will have Behringer wheels. Is that right?
Yes.
I love those Behringer wheels. They look so sexy.
They're sitting over there.
Are they? Let's go look at the wheels. They're really sharp looking. I know that isn't why we choose them, but I like it because they look cool. And this is a 10-inch wheel to go with our beautiful 35-inch bush wheels. And they just look tough. They just look tough. I love that about them.
They're pretty.
They're beautiful, and they're lightweight, and Behringer makes a gorgeous product, and we thank them for sponsoring this airplane. So we have a winner there. So we have 2 trivia question winners that we'll follow up with, and anyone that asked a question, we'll select a name randomly and follow up with you so you get a chance to win this airplane. If you don't want to put your fate in the hands of that one raffle ticket, go to alaskaairmen.org, buy as many as your heart desires, fund scholarships for people like Judd and Jeremiah and all those other mechanics and pilots out there. Any last questions, Truth, from the gang out there?
Let's see here. Looks like someone asked in the chat, this one's about scholarships.
Oh, great.
Do you guys offer any scholarships for flight training?
Absolutely, yes. So piloting is our bread and butter of scholarships. We have many scholarships available, anywhere from what we call a discovery scholarship, which is for someone who's never touched an airplane just to get started, all the way up to commercial piloting. So for sure, we have tons of piloting scholarships. We have maintenance scholarships. We have management, air traffic control, aerospace engineering, drone piloting. If you want to start a business in aviation, fill out the application and tell us about it. Anything related to an aviation career, we want to support you. So it's all covered. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Anything else you want to mention, Junior, about this gorgeous airplane or your team?
I think I'm good.
You're good? Okay. All right. All right. Thanks, everyone. Buy those tickets, and we will see you in the new year with another update on the engine and prop. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Here we are. Great job.
All right. Woo! Good job, team.